I once did a study of more than 5,000 jiu-jitsu matches in competition, and the #1 submission by far was the armbar. Not only is it a high percentage submission, but you can access it in many different ways and from many different positions, whether they be gi or no gi. The last move we're going to show you from the back is the armbar from the back. And this happens a lot when our partner is so intent on defending their neck. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get a kimura grip with grabbing his wrist, grabbing our armrest. We're going to make a frame against their neck, make sure they can't turn into us. And then we're going to get to the standard armbar position and finish a very powerful arm lock. I'll talk about a couple of ways we might end up here after I show the technique. So, I'm on the back, and I have my seatbelt, right? And so Elias has his arms in, kind of defending. I'm going to grab this wrist, take my hand, grab, and feed. So you notice how I have a frame here, at like a 90-degree angle. I have his wrist, and I have my own wrist. I'm going to lift and flare his elbow. Now we're going to do the same foot motion that we did for the bow and arrow choke, the little monkey feet motion on his far hip. But then my right leg is also going to swing like a pendulum, step, step. And now my right leg is going to try to kick the Bellingham BJJ logo, which creates a hole for Elias to fall into. And now I have a very, very powerful standard arm lock position. Pinch my knees together, pinch my heels tight to my butt, fall back, my partner taps. And you can see how much further back that I can go, right? So that's how the move looks. And now we're gonna go a little bit deeper into the details for each position. So there's a couple of different ways that a couple of different reasons that I might go for this move. For one thing, maybe my buddy's hands are in so tight that I can't get at his neck, right? And so I need a submission. And so grab, grab, right? Another reason I might go for this is there's an escape that people will do where they grab two hands on this arm and pass it over to this side of the head. And if it's there, as long as I can break this grip, now I can attack the armbar from the back too. So those are a couple of reasons why you might go for this. Go ahead and sit back up, please. So let's focus on the first, right? Remember, we always want, like my instructor Seth Champ always talks about two-door jiu-jitsu, where I want your neck. And he's like, nope, cool, your hands are there to defend your neck. So I'm gonna grab the hand, come around. Now here's a detail I really want you guys to notice. I'm gonna put 2 fingers on the palm of his hand and 2 fingers on his wrist. I'm gonna grab my own wrist and I'm gonna flare his elbow. The reason I flare his elbow, Elias, turn back into me. I cannot. Now watch it if I don't flare his elbow. Now if Elias is really strong, he can just turn up and get on top. And suddenly I've gone from the best position in jiu-jitsu to a relatively neutral position with a much better position for him. Suddenly he's on top. What makes that not happen is that I'm framing his neck, and as I flare his elbow, I'm pushing his hand toward his belt line. So his hands come in to defend. I grab his hand, feed it to my other hand. Grab his wrist, 2 fingers on the meat, 2 fingers on the bone, grab my own wrist. Lift his elbow. I'm pushing his hand down. So now when he tries to come into me, it's really, really hard. He's immobile. So now, some details on the foot transition. I step on the hip, step on the other hip. But I really need to kick my leg back because that creates a hole for him to fall into. If I don't kick my leg back like a pendulum, he can fall on my leg and suddenly I don't have an arm lock anymore. So now I have 2 arms on one to isolate his arm. I'm just gonna pinch my knees, pinch my heels, and fall back. I'm not gonna finish right now. I'm actually gonna loosen this up just to show. Important detail for finishing all arm locks. Thumb has to be pointing to the ceiling. So we can go 2 hands on the wrist, or I can give him a bro handshake, which is what I like because he can't turn his thumb. Either way, we should very gently try to put our back on the mat. If he's still not tapping when our back's on the mat, our hips can start to come up. Usually, he'll have tapped long before that. This has become one of my very favorite attacks in recent years because everybody sort of innately understands to protect their neck. And having that armbar as a second option is super useful. Plus, learning to use that kimura grip control, that double wrist lock, which is what catch wrestlers call it, can really help you not just stay on the back, but transition through the jiu-jitsu positional ladder really positively with really good results.